Welcome, amazing realtors, brokers, and investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, May 16th, 2019, and this is Mastermind call number 228. Congratulations. Last week we had two winners of the week. We couldn't decide, so Joe Lehman had a great story about his success with getting deals from attorneys, and Darcy Klobanish, one of our subs that's been with us for probably about 4 months now, really started to get some traction and got a couple deals. So congratulations to both of you. You will be getting, someone should have been in touch with you to find out what you would like for your reward. And we're always looking for those guys. This call is to help you, to give you advice, to hear your challenges. We also love to hear your wins. So don't be shy. Don't feel like you're bragging. If you have a good success story, I'm sure other people on the call can certainly benefit from it. Anything from my partners this week before we get started? We have 3 in the queue. We've got plenty of room for more. And Tim, I'm getting some backup. I'm getting some feedback there. That's much better. Thanks. Anything from you, Tim or Tom? Anything you want to add?
Now, first you tell me that you're getting backup, then you ask me to talk. Make up your mind, you know?
Just talk without the feedback.
Okay. It's all good, bud. Let's get going.
All right. We got 4. All right. Excellent. And our fearless coach, Chad, should be back next week. We heard good things about his trip, and I'm sure he'll fill you in. First up this week is phone number ending in 2455. You're up first.
Hi, guys. I apologize. I didn't know. I just thought I was queuing up. I did not have a question initially.
Okay.
But I guess one that I might pose to the group is not having been through the Probate Mastery certification course or having a reason that I've purchased yet. Just trying to determine whether this is going to would be a good investment for me. As a realtor, I'm doing quite a bit of marketing and other ways, but just want to know how significant would this be if I did include it as one of the tools in my toolbox, if you would.
Well, we've been doing it for 6 years. We've got a ton of success stories. So I would tell you that the Probate Mastery course is great. It's a must if you're going to take this on as a long-term niche. Now, having said that, a vast majority of our people start without it. I mean, we do give you everything you could need to be successful. Fast-track videos, training, letters, coaching, these calls. The thing you would do when you first sign up is listen to the fast-track videos. That's kind of Probate 101. And then the Probate Mastery is more of an advanced course. I would tell you that the perception of a lot of the agents that I talk to about probate is that it is far more complicated than it really is. I mean, more often than not, it's just a motivated absentee owner. The attorney handles all the legal aspects of the probate. So there are some additional services that you can provide to someone if they're not local and they got a house full of stuff, and the various team members that we recommend that you add. But I wouldn't overanalyze it. I mean, you can certainly jump right in, and I will tell you, doing this almost 6 years, although we don't require a contract, if you make a 90-day commitment, in other words, if you stick with it for 90 days, I know very few people that have worked the program correctly for 90 days that haven't gotten some business from it. And the good news is you don't have to do a lot of deals to have it make a lot of sense. And I know my partner, Tim, would like to add something. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, it's like anything else. It depends on what your focus on your business is today. And like anything else, Jim certainly said it well, is that it depends on your focus. And if you focus time and energy on this and become a specialist at it, it's like anything else. The more you find a niche that you can differentiate yourself with in your market, the better off you're going to be. And it's a crowded world out there. So if you become known as the whatever guy or the whatever gal, and in your case, if you became known as the probate go-to guy in your market, that's a good niche to be in. And over time, that just simply begins to build. The other side of it that's important on probate is that we encourage you to develop relationships with attorneys, and we talk a good bit about doing that, and that begins to feed to the overall piece of this, because attorneys will start feeding you business if you're starting to help them out. So there's a lot to all of this, but we teach you how to do it, and we furnish you all the information to get it done, and help you get it done. So you couldn't go wrong giving this a shot in your market.
Thank you.
Very welcome. And just a little personal background, I was a realtor and an investor for nearly 40 years, so it works equally well for both niches. So, don't be shy, just jump in, and if you are interested, just give us a call after the call. We'll walk through the particulars on your county. I assume you're not a subscriber now, correct?
Correct. I'm not. I've think maybe a year or so ago, Jim, I think I spoke with you about getting a county. I was looking at Prince George's and Anne Arundel and possibly D.C., but probably just starting with Prince George's initially.
Yeah.
Looking at the cost at that time, and I was doing several things with marketing, and kind of backed off of all of those and trying to do a lot of it on my own.
Sure.
But I had an interesting meeting the other day with a particular industry that I think could possibly lend some support with respect to referrals. So I thought maybe let me look at this again and see just what it might afford me. So yeah, I might give you a call, Jim, after the conference.
Perfect. If you don't, if it's okay, I'll give you a call. I have your number.
Sounds good. No problem.
Okay. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. We have 3 more in the queue, guys. We have plenty of room for more, so don't be shy. Hit *6 and then hit 1. Next up is phone number ending in 6677. You're up next.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I think I've called in every week since I started the Probate Mastery course. I have a couple of quick questions for you. The first question is, I've called a couple of agents and kind of explained them, and this was after we had that conversation. Explained to them about, me, I really want to get in the probate space. I think it's really valuable, and how we could work together. And the subject of commission came up. And I guess, and I'm kind of new to this whole world, but I guess that a realtor, it's illegal for them to pay me as an investor a fee because I'm not associated with the brokerage. Has this
Correct.
question come up in the past?
Yeah.
And is there a referral fee? What's the etiquette? Because I want to be respectful of the laws and all that.
Exactly. And first thing I would say, I'm not an attorney. I am a realtor, and I have been one for 40 years. Yeah, a realtor cannot pay a percentage of their commission to anyone who isn't a licensed realtor. What we generally recommend is make it a reciprocal arrangement. In other words, anybody who is not interested in my offer, I'm going to refer them to you. I would ask 2 things of you, Mr. Realtor. If the situation changes and, a few months down the road they get more motivated, I would ask you to call me back and make me the top choice for an investor. And I would also say, Mr. Realtor, if you find any other good deals out there, I'm going to send you business. I really would appreciate it if you would send it to me. Now, having said that, if you want to delve just a little bit into a gray area, I mean, you could co-market with them. We do have situations where mortgage companies, title companies, realtors, and investors have gone in and done joint marketing efforts and, mutually benefited. But, you follow me, but that's kind of a gray area. I would definitely talk to your broker about that before you jump in there. The preferred route would just be, you send me business and I'll send you business.
Okay. So I'd kind of gone into an attorney's office and was promptly kind of rejected. I kind of introduced myself, and I was kind of telling them what they wanted to do, and it seemed like they didn't really want anything to do with it. Are there any tips that y'all have? I mean, I'm sure it was because I'm still learning the process, and I'm still learning the verbiage and the kind of vernacular.
Sure. And I know, Tim, did you want to answer his first question first? I know Tim wanted to elaborate, and then I'll answer that question.
A couple other things about that. The other side of this, in terms of something you might also tell the investor, think about it from a psychological standpoint. If the investor finds a property and he's looking to go, if a realtor finds a property or he finds a customer and they're looking to list that property, one of the things that typically when you've got a good solid working relationship with a realtor happens is that you make an investor buy offer, a quick money offer, and put it on the table, and that can stay on the table even if the realtor isn't able to get what he can get for you. It also helps to justify, in some cases, what the realtor puts it on the market for. And oftentimes an investor offer can even help that realtor get the job done prior to taking that listing. And if he can't get it sold, then that stays on the table. And if at the end of that listing period, 3 to 6 months of that, it may simply come back to you. So it never hurts to do that. And as you develop that working relationship with them, that becomes kind of fluid. You'll find realtors that want to work with you. So that's another thing to consider, is that you'd like to make some cash offers, and you realize that those things don't happen. The other side of this is that you can, in fact, every good realtor knows several investors that they can move things to that they can't get listed. And that's kind of the point, and that's what helps you get things back from them when people want to list and they don't want to sell at wholesale. That's where you get the feedback from. So you have to make sure they know that you understand how the process works. They're only going to give you potentially opportunities when they can't get it listed, and you're in the same circumstance. There are people that you talk to that say, no, I want to put it on the market and get as much as I can for it. Well, then that's what you hand them back. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah. Even though I don't have cash, I would put it under contract then and wholesale it to someone?
Well, you can do whatever. You can either wholesale it to somebody. You should, if you're going to obviously get at this, you need to be able to have if you're going to do it with hard money, you need to have the lender sitting back there so you can do it. If you want somebody to flip it to, that's another story. And you just need to kind of have your ducks in a row so that the first time something happens with a realtor and you need to do a kind of put up or shut up sort of offer and the potential client bites, you can complete the deal. You do it once, you're a winner.
I hear you.
And then as far as the attorney, I don't know, have you listened to any of our role play calls, or have you been on calls recently when we talked about how to provide value to an attorney? Have you heard any of those?
No, actually I haven't. Is there any particular calls that?
Yeah, what I was going to recommend, because we've covered that a lot lately, you want to provide value to the attorney just like you provide value to the homeowner, and just go to our main website, alltheleads.com. In the upper right-hand corner in the search bar, we have a very user-friendly search feature, very robust. So just put in prospecting attorneys, and you'll hear a dozen recordings on there, role plays, suggestions, ways to offer value to them. That'd probably be the best way to really kind of immerse yourself in that. Oh, and by the way, my partner just reminded me the search bar within our portal also works. So if you are a subscriber and you signed in, you can do the same thing when you're in our portal. You can search there also.
And okay, one last question. So
sure.
I'm not sure how many leads I should be marketing to on a monthly basis, right? So I sent out my first batch of about 100 letters. And didn't really get any responses back. And I've reached out to kind of half of them, but I wasn't sure, because I really want to make this the part of my business. I'm passionate about it, and I really want to focus on it completely. Do y'all have any recommendations for the amount of people I should be marketing to on a monthly basis to make sure to get consistent leads and to make it the main part of my business.
I don't mean to sound flip, but as many as you can. I mean, we have agents that get overwhelmed with 20 leads, and we have, I think, someone in Harris County, Texas, that gets 700 a month and, and is able to keep up with it. So it really depends a lot on your bandwidth. I certainly wouldn't take any more leads than you could contact on a monthly basis, at least once a month. If you don't have the bandwidth to call them at least once a month, then you need to either have us do it for you or bring some help on to help you contact them. So you're not taking all the leads in your market now, you're just getting a batch of 100?
Yeah, I'm just doing like 100 because I wanted to start out, like relatively.
Sure.
I wanted to be conservative about it.
Now you called 50 of them. Why have you not called the other 50? You just haven't. You're in the process of doing it.
I just sent out a mailing, and I know it's like, what is it, like 5 days after you mail the first. Gotcha. Well, I just didn't have enough time. I'm gonna call them all tonight.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, you sound like you're doing the right thing, and just call them once a month until you do a deal with them or you disqualify them. The minimum would be one contact per month, and with 100 you certainly ought to be able to do that. If you average 3 calls a day, or take a week and call 15 a day, you should be able to get through them easily.
I wouldn't have trouble with calling them all in one day. Okay. Cool.
I like your attitude. All right. You're very welcome. Thank you. All right. Next up is phone number ending in 7926. You're up next.
Hey, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Hey, great. How about you?
Yep. Doing pretty well. I have a few questions. I wanted to preface those questions by saying that I'm a wholesaler that's been kind of just grinding since August, hadn't came across a deal. I had put a few under contract, but I think I was just a little too eager and made a lot of mistakes in that process. But this month I'm actually set to close my very first wholesale deal that happened to be on a delinquent tax list, and then later on I found out that it was a probate as well. But I'm set to close that on the 28th for right around $39,000. So I just wanted to toot my own horn right there. And whoever.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Just keep grinding and keep failing and doing the right thing. But with that being said, I did have a question. I'm not a member as of right now. I was reached out to last week about the membership and so forth. But once I do start that membership, and I get these, there's about 50 probate leads available in my county, is what you guys had said. I'm more of a cold calling. That's kind of my bread and butter. I've never tried direct mailing, but a lot of that is because I hadn't had the capital for that. So
sure.
With that said, what would you guys recommend would be a good time frame? So say you guys pull the probate leads and I get them on the 1st. Now, I don't necessarily know how long the probates go. I live in Michigan, but I was curious as to, once I get those leads, when can I start cold calling them? Just to be tasteful. I mean, I don't want to be insensitive to the people that are going through that issue.
Very, very fair question. And the difference between, you're not working death certificates or obituary leads where they just came from the funeral. On average, it varies greatly. I mean, it's possible someone files a probate immediately after the death, but nationwide, on average, it's somewhere between 3 and 4 months from the date of death until the probate gets filed. So by the time they file the probate, the family is hopefully over the grief enough that they have made the business decision that they need to deal with this. They've hired an attorney, they paid him, they filed the probate. So I would start calling them on day one. I mean, enough of a period should have passed that they're going to look at you as somebody who's looking to help them rather than preying on them. And you mentioned a cold caller. I was very much too. I made 100 contacts a day as a realtor. There's a couple main reasons we recommend the 1-2 approach of the letter then the call. Number one, when you send a letter first, it's a little less of a cold call when you follow the call up, and you can reference the letter. Hey, this is Joshua. Did you get my letter? A second very valid reason is probate leads season exceptionally well. A majority of these people are ready to do something right away, and as the executor of the estate, they are authorized. They can list the property, they can sign contracts. In many cases, it's a few months until they can actually convey clear title and close, although there are ways of getting around that. So, but one of the reasons for sending, another valid reason for sending the letter, you will have people put that letter away. We hear it on this call every week and call you a year or two later, where they just aren't going to save your voicemail that long. You know, people, you referenced, Joshua, people do grieve differently, and some people just, even though they filed the probate, they're just not emotionally ready to deal with it yet and part with the house, and they will call you way down the road. So, I mean, if you get one call from one letter a year, it more than covers all of your postage. So for those two reasons, I mean, we do have people that just send out letters and don't pick up the phone, and we do have people that don't send out letters and only call. But I believe both groups would probably do better if they did both.
Okay, yeah, that's great information. Yeah, because the cold calling is just that's my bread and butter. That's what I enjoy doing. But I do understand that direct mail leads to talking on the phone as well. So I do get that one approach. Another question I had was, is there any tips or tricks that you may have with trusts? I'm not super familiar with them, but I know that I can pull a list, from any of those list sources with 500 trusts in one. I didn't know if there was a way to kind of narrow those down, or if just you had any type of information that would be helpful on trusts specifically.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to tell you too much. We are looking at that as a future product. Tim, do you want to address that at all? Trusts? You there, Timothy? Okay. We hate talking about stuff until it actually happens. But the only way to avoid probate is to have a living trust, and only about 5% of all Americans do. You know, we've mentioned on this call a lot of times, Steve Jobs was a very intelligent man. When he died, all of his property had to go through probate. So if you're able to get there, as you referenced, Josh, there are so many different types of trusts. Some of them are to avoid taxes, some of them for estate planning purposes. I think for the most part, if you're getting enough active probates in your market, I would probably focus more on them because, they have an urgent need right now. A trust, you just don't know the reason that the trust was set up.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to thank you guys on. I think all my questions are done, but just since listening to you guys within the last couple weeks or so, I actually seen you on Ty the Flip Man, and I was like, and I've been watching him for some time, so I was like, oh, great. But the probate attorney's angle, I actually had an appointment with the seller that I have set to close here yesterday. And their probate process just closed in April, and that was actually why, I've been trying to reach these people since, like September or October, but the name had switched on my source, so I was still trying to call the deceased. But I did speak with him yesterday and asked him who his probate attorney was. Just to kind of get that going. I'll be hopefully, I didn't want to really reach out to the probate attorney when I wasn't available for a meeting. I kind of wanted to just like you guys said, get in front of them and give them a buzz and say, hey, you got 5 minutes to meet, rather than call a secretary and set something up like that. But I did want to thank you guys for that information, because I think that could really be valuable. And not only that, I feel like I'll look much more credible to this attorney in particular when I tell him that, oh yeah, the clients that you just finished probate, I'm set to close here on the 28th. So I'm hoping that'll be a hook, line, and sinker kind of moment there.
That's great. And, you made a good point when you ask about trusts, and And then you mentioned attorneys. Attorneys that work probate generally will set up trusts also. So that would be a pretty easy, good source when you're talking to a probate attorney or prospecting them. Just mention to him, do you set up living trusts? Do you handle trust situations? Because he could certainly be in a position to tell you which ones need to sell and want to sell and refer those deals to you also.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thought with trust. The only reason I even brought up the trust situation is because as of right now, my capital is super limited, so I haven't been able to pull the probate leads from your guys' thing. I've went to the courthouse a few times, but it was prior to really finding my area. I was kind of at the beginning. I was kind of targeting lower income counties essentially. But now that I have this property that's set to close, I've kind of really focused my marketing and just cold calling on this particular county. But the reason I'd asked about the trust is because the information that I can gather myself right now is I can't get to probates through this filter, but I can get the trust.
Gotcha.
I'm looking, there's like 1,012 in the county that I was just trying to get any information on. But yeah, I see kind of where you're going with that. So totally get it. But man, thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to getting back on these calls with you guys.
Thank you, Joshua. And that $39K, when you cash the check, that should pay for about 5 to 10 years worth of leads, I would think. So give us a call when you're ready.
Hey, don't you worry about it. I think the woman that reached out to me a couple days ago on the phone, she's waiting for my call. I got her stored in, so you guys don't worry about that. I'll be a all lead call guy here shortly. I promise.
All right, thanks for participating. Appreciate it. Boy, our queue is full today, guys. I'm going to have to go ahead and close the queue in 1 minute. And as it is, we may not get through to everybody today, but I'm going to do my best. Everybody that's in there now, we will take your question. If you do have one, hit *6 and hit 1, and I'm going to close the queue in 1 minute. Next up is phone number ending in 2583. You're up next.
Hi, this is Ronit. We've spoken a few times calling from New York. So I've been having this situation, you see like the same lawyers come up, and some lawyers get the really good houses. I still haven't figured it out what they're doing to attract these specific clientele. But there's this one that I tried calling. He wasn't really into talking to me. And I spoke to a few of his clients just because they were on my list, and they're and I said, listen, I know this lawyer, but he doesn't really, okay, this is the thing. The lawyer, he's got investors in his pocket. So all these properties that he is working on, he tells his clients that he can, he'll just give it to his investors and then they sell it that way. And that's like, so he's also getting, who knows what he's getting from these investors. And, I know also situations where investors have used him to represent the probate guy, so he's representing both sides of the transaction. And of course, the people I call don't understand that they should have their own lawyer because, if this guy's paying for the lawyer, the investor, then he's not working for them. But whatever, I'm just giving you examples that, about this lawyer. He's sort of like, he's sort of like cock blocking. I mean, I'm sorry, but like he's just being, and it's like he hates me. And I'm getting like chummy with his clients because they like me because like sometimes I'll go to the courthouse, I'm there a lot, and I'll look up stuff for them. And
sure.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I know he could sell it, but like, I want to sell it, and I don't want to speak bad about him because that looks bad about me. But
sure.
There's got to be a skillful way to, like, get these clients to work with me and realize
sure.
that this guy is, he's their probate lawyer, but That's about it.
So it sounds like your question is how do you list property with his clients without butting heads with him? Is that the question?
Yes,
Okay.
but he
Yeah.
is not into me.
Yeah, no, I get it. And
okay.
I get it. And from everything you have told me, it sounds like this is just one of those attorneys, maybe his motivation is not in the right place, and this is one of those attorneys that you are just, beating a dead horse trying to get business from him. So I would stop trying, and I would just call his clients. No, I'm
not getting it from him anymore. But you're saying not to call these clients?
Oh, no. I would just not reference the attorney at all. Just call the clients and say, you can make a generic reference to, one of the ways I can help you is, we do have retail buyers that'll pay you what the house is worth, rather than have to sell the property real cheap to an investor. You could certainly reference that in the beginning without mentioning this particular attorney or his investors. Of course, I would ask them up, just like anybody else, ask them what their motivation is. What's more important to you, speed or the price? What's more important to you, a quick sale or getting what the home is worth? And if they don't have some compelling urgency, then I would just stress the fact that you can find a retail buyer for them very quickly, maybe in 30 days, and net them a whole lot more money than if they deal with an investor.
Yeah. Because last night, I was talking to another one, and then I quickly looked at the file, and he's the lawyer. And they're like, and I'm like, yes, and I'm explaining my services and everything, and she's like, yeah, we have someone. And I'm like, oh, do you have a realtor? She's like, no, our lawyer said he can help us sell it. And I'm just, and it's him. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, and I'm trying to, finesse the situation, lawyers, they usually do lawyer stuff, and, it's important to, separate, the law, just whatever I'm trying to say. And,
yeah.
But it's just,
just focus, like I said, don't even reference the attorney, just focus on the clients and how you can best solve their needs. And I'm sure no matter how many he's doing, he's not the only attorney. How many other probate attorneys do you have that you can focus on in that market? Focus on the other attorneys, and just don't focus on the negative of this attorney. I would just focus on how you can help each individual client, and you'll get your share. But trying to getting frustrated over what he should be doing or isn't doing probably isn't getting you any closer to the next deal, right?
And Jim, I know we got to move on, but I'll add one other thing here before we move on off this, and that is that I'd also say maybe wait 30 to 60 days, and when you hear this, call back and see if you can get some anecdotal data about, did that really work out well for you? Did he actually help? Did he accomplish what you expected to accomplish? All that sort of stuff. I suspect you're going to find that a lot of these people were not as satisfied as they thought they might be satisfied, because if he's an attorney and he's not just focused on real estate, he's picking low-hanging fruit and probably isn't getting a lot of this done. So give it some time and let it season a little bit and see how that works for you. Okay?
All righty. Next up is phone number ending in 7981. You're up next.
Hi, I'm new, and my question was, do you negotiate with the lawyer in regards to fees when you're trying to sell the property?
Are you a realtor?
No, I'm not. I'm an investor.
Well, you, as an investor, you normally wouldn't get fees for selling the property. You would be the buyer, correct?
Right. But I'm saying if I'm dealing with some attorneys, they're asking me, what fee am I going to pay them?
Yeah, I think that's pretty rare. Have you actually had that happen yet?
I had one, just one. So I was just curious.
That's pretty rare. That it's also, believe it or not, it's pretty rare that a realtor asks for part of a commission. A attorney asks for part of a commission. They usually stay pretty much in their lane. And I honestly, we had the question earlier. I know a realtor cannot pay a fee to an attorney. I don't.
Right.
I would think it might be. And I'm not an attorney, but it seems like a little bit of a conflict of an interest for the attorney to refer somebody, one of his sellers who he's supposed to be representing, to you because you're paying him a fee. I think he's getting enough fee on the in the probate that he's filing for the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Next up is phone number ending in 0034. You're up next.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. This is my first time. Okay, so I am new to this, and I have several questions here. I got my first set of leads, and I noticed that many of the phone numbers say do not call, and in fact, in some of them, all 5 phone numbers say do not call. So in a case like that, what do you all recommend?
Yeah, we talk about this almost every week since we started providing the do not call information. We're not attorneys and we can't give you specific advice. What we can tell you, in 6 years, we estimate our subscribers have made several million calls. We're not aware of a single complaint, because generally when people agree to be the executor of an estate, they're agreeing to have their information put into public records, that I'm the person to contact. So even if they may be on the do not call list, we don't find that the executors usually mind being called. We can't tell you to, but we have to provide that information to you. It's just a lot of brokers are very conscious of it, and they want their agents to screen against the do not call list. So you sort of have to just, weigh your own risk reward and decide whether you want to call them or not. Tim, do you have anything you want to add to that? I know we've talked about it at length.
Kind of the same things that we say in regard to this. If you are making the phone calls, one of the things that you certainly want to be doing until you actually get the right person, we give you up to 5 phone numbers to call. And if you do make phone calls to people, one of the things that you want to be doing, if the person that you're trying to reach is, Sally Jones, you just continue to make the phone calls and just don't call and say, hi, I'm so-and-so from XYZ Realtor, or hi, I'm so-and-so the investor. It's, hey, I'm trying to reach Sally Jones. If they don't know Sally Jones, don't know anything about Sally Jones, then get off the phone call. No harm, no foul, next. You've not made a commercial phone call, you're trying to find Sally Jones. And that's kind of what you're looking for. And if you get the executor, the personal representative for the estate, as Jim said, in most cases, they're, that's what they're there for. They know that they're standing up for that person. And they have to be able to process phone calls from people who have claims against the estate. That's why they are, in fact, the personal representative for the estate. So there are aspects of that. And like Jim said, typically you're not going to run into a problem, but we're doing our job by making sure that we highlight them and keeping it legal from our standpoint as well.
Okay. So next question here has to do with attorneys. I'm in Denver, so it's a very big city, and it's a highly competitive market no matter what you try to focus on. So I'm wondering, first of all, how do I go about finding attorneys who would be good prospects for me? And then when I go to if I can get into those attorneys, how do I convince them that they need to use me if I can't give them business in return? And I'm thinking specifically at the moment of a firm. It's quite large, quite successful, it's been around a long time, and so I'm trying to figure out how to approach them. How can I benefit when they're already so successful? And then, like I said, others, when I can't tell them I'm bringing them clients, how do I motivate them to use me?
Sure. And 2 things, and forgive me, in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you to go, because it is a very long answer. We've covered this so many times. Go to our search bar and just put in prospecting attorneys, and there's a dozen different examples that we give you of how you can provide value to them. Mainly, it's just taking all the non-legal stuff off their plate, the estate sale company, the cleanup crew, the contractor, et cetera. And as far as who to call, go down the column of your leads every month and I would start with the ones that have more than one probate. You know, if you're getting 50 leads, there's probably 3, 4, 5 attorneys that are doing multiple deals every month. Those are the ones that I would start with.
Okay.
Okay? Does that help?
Thank you.
Very good. Next up is phone number ending in 9368. You're up next.
Hey, what's going on? This is Ben from Maryland.
Oh, hey, Ben, before you start, I just my partner just reminded me of one other thing for the last caller. Go to our website, and you can order or download one of those trifold brochures that you can drop off at the attorney's offices. Those are very effective. Sorry, Ben, you're up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I actually started calling a little bit, and I had a woman that actually wanted to sell the property, but she wanted to get top dollar for it, so I referred her to a real estate agent that I know. But
Great.
I am, yeah, it was good, I guess. It was good news, right? But I am
Sure.
a wholesaler, right? And so all I was able to do for her was just like refer her to the real estate agent. And I was looking it up online. Because I don't have a license, I wouldn't be able to receive fees
Right.
for referring it to her. So what would you recommend that I do that I could personally benefit from referring people?
Well,
you recommend that I get a real estate license or something?
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to get a real estate license, sure. I mean, then you have 2 ways that you can monetize these leads. Not being able to do that, was the person you referred, were they local or were they out of town?
They were local.
Yeah, because I would certainly put her in your sphere of influence and just say, hey, call back in a month and say, hey, was the realtor able to help you? Glad to hear it. You know, who do you know locally that's looking to, you know, buy or sell property? Try to get referrals from her. And also, it sounds like you've got a realtor now that owes you a favor. I would certainly be on the phone to the realtor and say, how did that turn out? So all of the vendors and the people that we suggest that you use, the estate sale company, clean out crew, contractor, it should be a reciprocal relationship. You know, and if it isn't, then, you know, you need to find somebody else that will send you business. There isn't a realtor in the business that doesn't run into properties, listed or not listed occasionally. Like Tim said, more often than not, they're not going to list because they have an urgency. But often you'll run into a property that's listed, or they'll have one that's listed that just isn't selling, and the people, you know, have an urgency, and you want to be the person that realtor always calls when that happens. And
Right.
you know, it may not pay off for you this week or next month, but if you do that enough time, it will pay off in the long run.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, because I wasn't sure if realtors ran into houses where the sellers were desperate enough to do wholesale.
All the time. if you're the more active you are, the more often you run into them.
Okay.
It over the 40 years that I was in business, I can't tell you how many times a buyer told me, I mean, not every day, but, you know, offer that. And I said, that's ridiculous. They'll never take it. And the seller accepted it. It does happen. It's the exception to the rule, but there isn't an active realtor that doesn't run into those kind of deals occasionally. So you're creating good karma that it's going to result in a paycheck for you somewhere down the road. Okay?
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Boy, guys, I'm struggling to get through all the calls. Good job today with participation. Next up is phone number ending in 3710. You're up next. Are you there, 3710? I hear you talking in the background. All right, we're gonna move on. It looks like they are prospecting or something. Phone number ending in 6855. You're up next.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Cliff Blackman down here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A couple of things. Just reporting this last April 15th mailing list that I got here in Palm Beach County. We sent out letters to everybody with the brochure. It was like 500 and change. And I actually had a phone call from an out-of-state personal representative who was in town to deal with the property and called me and was looking really good. It wrapped up right there. So it was like in 5 months now. It was the first come list me phone call that I got. And so that was good.
Nice.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, thanks. So that felt real good. I thought I'd share it. I thought I'd kick in a good idea to the folks with questions about lawyers. Many of you know I am a lawyer. I've been for 40 years, but I practice real estate these days. And what lawyers care about is, like everybody else, money. So recently I went to see a lawyer who actually is the personal representative for the estate, and brought my brochure. And he was ready to sign a listing up with me, and he asked me, so what happens if you double-end this? You know, what's in it for me? I know what's in it for him, money. He wants money, right? So I told him, look, if I double-end it, send me a bill for legal services, and I'll pay you $1,000. As a matter of fact, Mr. Attorney, here's some of my brochures. Anytime you have a listing and you want to send it to me, send me a legal bill at the end, and I'll pay you $1,000. And he liked that arrangement.
Yeah.
But now it's I can't share a commission with him. But guess what? He's a lawyer. He can be my lawyer, and he can bill me. And
very interesting.
No conflict at all. And he doesn't have to do anything either. Just send me a bill. So he liked it. I thought I'd share it with the folks who are cold calling lawyers. Don't be afraid of lawyers. From what I've heard from you guys, the best thing is to just show up and see if you can get in for 5 minutes, although not so easy with busy lawyers. But the brochure is the way to go. It's like, hey, man, I can offer all these services to your people, and I know it's to help. Otherwise, your assistant's going to be stuck doing all this stuff, and wouldn't you rather have the realtor do it besides getting a good price? Get all the work off your desk, you know. So the brochure, I'd reaffirm the brochure is a great way to go. Go for it. And
awesome, Cliff.
I would bring them rather than mail them, my suggestion. That's what I'm going to do anyway when I do get around to, go calling some more. Just got this first one's off to the races. I was happy that I got low authority for the listing. It was really, to me, the deal is made right at the beginning when you can get low authority for listing. So you can sell the place. Because here we have 15 competitive properties in the 200, 240 range, and I got authority at 195. Well, so you got to do this because everyone will come see your property. Everyone. And they may even bid up. The last one I did, I got them to bid $35,000 more than the list, but we had a very low list. So, anyway, we just wanted to share that little bit of strategy that I've had a little bit of success with here. I'll continue listening to you guys. You're doing a great job there.
Oh, thank you, Cliff. And I would say you have more than a little success. You almost every week you've got a success story, and you are. I always have to feel compelled to mention you are probably in one of the top 5 most competitive markets in the country in Palm Beach, Florida. You're getting a ton of leads, and you not only work them, but you're getting deals from them on a consistent basis. So congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
Starting to work. Yeah, list me up. And lastly, I wrote a book on the subject. It's about 80 pages of good tips in probate law and all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned it in my letter. Initially, I mailed them out. They're very expensive. I stopped doing that. But this most recent lady who called me, I said to her, no, do you have my book? And she said, no, I don't have it, but bring that book. I want that book. I said, you got it. So I'm bringing the book. So,
good for you, man.
My book is
Thanks
called,
so much.
Yeah, all right, listen, good luck to everybody.
No, go ahead. You can, if they can find they can find your book online, go ahead.
No, they can't actually. They can't. But
if you want Cliff's book, go to All the Leads Mastermind and say, Cliff, I want your book. How's that?
There you go.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Cliff.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, you too. Next up is phone number ending in 8735. You're up next.
Hi, my name is David, and I'm a real estate agent in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
My first time on the call, I was recently, introduced to doing some wholesaling by a group of guys here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and they had recommended that I try to, look at you guys and get involved here to learn more about probate. And I'm curious, like when you're going after probate properties, is it more common that a property that's in probate, the people who are going to inherit the property, that they're interested in wholesaling, trying to sell it quick for a cash offer because homes are more often in disrepair because it was someone who's passed away that was living there and they can't sell it at full market value, or is there a good likelihood of being able to list it as a regular real estate deal? I'm just not sure which way to be going of
No,
actually approaching it?
Yeah, it's a valid question. I did both for many years. When I had the idea for this company, I tried it down here in South Florida. My own experience is probably 85 to 90% of them were just standard listings. About 10 to 15% of them, maybe 20 at the most, I would say 10 to 15% of them either had a compelling urgency, like mom died, we got to get dad in a nursing home, we need to sell right away. Or the property was free and clear, and there were 5 heirs, and they just wanted, I had many cases where they'd already spent the money. They just wanted a quick out. Or what you referenced, that, the roof's leaking, the place is in bad shape, they know they're not going to be able to, sell it and have anyone get a mortgage, and they don't have the funds or the inclination to fix the house up. But the vast majority of them are going to have some deferred maintenance, but they are going to be sellable on the retail market. So 80 to 90% of them are going to probably list with the realtor. It's that other 10, maybe 15% that compelling urgency or the property's in disrepair where you can be of service. The good news is, it's just like I said to the person earlier, if you got 100 leads and there's only 10 or 15 of them you can help, and you can help one of them, you don't have to have a high conversion rate to have this make a lot of sense.
No, of course. And that was, I know you have a lot of people waiting. Maybe if I could ask one quick follow-up question then.
Sure.
So trying to get started with going after probate properties, but what I had researched was that you can go to the county clerk and then try to find out the properties that are actually in probate, and then try to see if they're open or they're closed, and then getting leads through you guys, through your services more, are you getting connected to an executor of a will? Or because the questions I've heard, It sounds like people are talking to attorneys a lot. So are the leads that come? Well, no, we recommend, I don't mean to interrupt you, we recommend a two-pronged approach. Reach out to the executors first. We take the court information and add really highly accurate phone numbers, usually a cell phone number. So we're going to give you cell phone numbers and phone numbers that you're not going to find at the courthouse, and you probably aren't even going to find a lot of them if you do all the search yourself online. And so we recommend reach out to the executors first, but then identify the attorneys in your market that are doing multiple deals and go after them also. We just happen to have a lot of questions today focused on attorneys, but they're both important. The executor can give you one deal today. The attorney can give you, dozens of referrals over the coming years. So you really want to work both. And if you don't mind, David, I'll have one of our salespeople call you after the call and just kind of reach out and elaborate a little bit more. Yeah, well, I was listening to people's questions and answers. I already went on your website and filled out the requesting information thing. So yeah, I'd love to find out, what's available and what the costs are, et cetera, so I can try to get started. You got it. Thanks for being here. Thanks. Appreciate it. I am racing through. We've got 3 more. We may go just a few minutes over today, guys. Next up is phone number ending in 0036. You're up next.
Hi, this is Andy in Wisconsin.
Hey, Andy.
Hi. I don't know if I'd call it a probate marketing 301 question. I did post something on the Probate Mastery alumni page. Has anyone, to your knowledge, tried to put together a Facebook group page that talks about the process of going through probate, and also incorporate your business partners in that page, meaning the estate sale companies, the contractors, the attorneys, the things like that, so that there's another touch point for people that may be looking for advice on settling probate?
Yeah, I'm going to defer this to my partner Tim, but my initial inclination there, Andy, is if you make that information too easily available, they may not have much of a reason to contact you. But Tim, you want to elaborate?
Well, there are 2 ways to look.
Tim, you there?
I think I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. There's a couple of ways to look at that, and one of them is what you said, Jim. Oftentimes people think, well, if I give it all away, they're not going to come to me. The reality is that I would kind of take the opposite approach and say you're helping to publicize what they do. Certainly anything that you can do to add value to the suppliers that you're using, the clean-out crews, the contractors, the estate sale folks, all that, that's helpful. But the other thing that a lot of our folks do they're asking us to help them do this is to add a page to their website that does that as well. And that's very tangible and quite easy to show somebody that, I'd like to list you on our site as well as part of our team to get this done and all that sort of stuff. And it literally helps to do that. It just makes you bigger, better, faster, stronger, and their strength in numbers. You're offering them free advertising. It's yet one more benefit that you offer to them. Why should they work with you? Here's why. And I think is a really good idea. The Facebook piece of it, possibly. The challenge there is that, you're going to take a bunch of time to go do that. And while it may have value for you, it'll take a while before that really is a tangible value. And most of the traffic that you're going to bring to your website, if you're using a probate credibility website, most of that traffic is traffic you're driving yourself with mailings and brochures. So that's the place that you'd like to have that. And if you're already showing it there, that's helpful to everybody. And I don't think it's going to hurt you to do that. I think it's okay.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
So that'd be my encouragement, is do it on your website. And
yeah.
if you need help doing that, we'll help you do it.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. Two more. Next up is phone number ending in 2729. You're up next.
Hi, good afternoon. One quick question for you, please. My contract is expiring shortly with a similar company to yours, and I'd like to switch over. Is there a particular person that I should contact?
We have a great sales team. There are 5 people on our sales team, and I will have the phone number ending in 2729. Can I have somebody reach back out to you right after the call?
Yes, several weeks ago, while I was in the car and I couldn't write it down, I believe it was Jim or Jerry or Jordan, someone had tried to contact me.
Jordan. Yep, it's Jordan. I'm Jim, but it was most likely Jordan. So I will have Jordan. He's probably on the call, but I will have him reach out to you right after the call. And I'm glad you're stepping up in companies. So congratulations. Thank you.
Hey, and I want to make one other point. I want to make one other point, and this is something for everybody on here. Here's something that's interesting for you, and that's that we don't make you sign a contract. We try to make sure that we earn your business every month, and that's an important thing to consider. So, yeah, we'll be delighted to help you and appreciate you giving us a shot.
Thank you. I'm not, I don't never want to be negative towards somebody else. It's just I think yours would be a better fit for my particular business model.
Well, we certainly agree with you.
Well, we got something that's unanimous. Thank you very much, and Jordan will be back with you probably within 10 minutes.
You're quite welcome. You have a good afternoon, sir.
You too. Last up this week is phone number ending in 5376. You're last up.
Yeah, hi guys. My name's Carl. I just signed up with you guys. I'm going to be getting my leads, I guess, in another week because y'all didn't have anybody working in that area or something. But my question is, right now, I'm on the road a lot, so if I have you guys make the calls, how quickly, if somebody says yes, do I need to be able to respond to them with me being on the road? I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do, to find somebody.
Can you define how? What do you mean by on the road? Are you not in the county? Are you not nearby? Is that your point?
Well, right now, yeah. I live in Florida, but unfortunately, with the other work that I'm having to do right now, I'm up here in Michigan right now, and next week I'll be in Newton, Iowa. So,
well, at least you're not up on the space station.
I want to get this up and going to get me off the road, so I'm in Florida all the time, but I'm just trying to figure out if I have you guys, do the calling, and then I guess there's an extra fee or something to have you call the attorneys. If they say yes or whatever, I'm just, what is your recommendation as far as?
Let me ask you a couple of questions, and that's this. So you're in Michigan now. Are you out like a week at a time? How? Tell me a little bit about the schedule you're on. That's really the issue.
Well, this was supposed to be a 2-week deal, and I've been out here 5 weeks, because the project didn't go the way we predicted it was going to be. So that's part of the reason why I'm like, I want to get into probates and get out of this craziness I'm in, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would tell you is that it's like anything else. If the iron is hot, that's when you need to strike. And unfortunately, if you're not there, you have some issues of either you need to get somebody there with some information on your behalf, put together some sort of a flyer, presentation, a folder, and then potentially set something up where you can contact them by phone while you're away. Do you have someone who could deliver information to somebody for you?
Yeah, I'm sure I can do that. Because I am a licensed realtor. I just haven't been working that side of it, and so I can always, a friend of mine, I'm sure she would agree to help me out with that, and be able to do that.
Here's a remote approach. I mean, you got a challenging situation, but I mean, the one thing I would suggest is get a brochure put together that talks about you, what you do, how you work, and all of that. And I would simply, let your callers, let us, potentially make the calls for you, and we'll know that, you're not going to, we won't book come list me appointments because you're not going to be able to do that unless the person that you're working with, you want to maybe work with them to have them go make that appointment and make the appointment and do it for you. Then the best that you're going to be able to do is to drop a brochure off, call them, and arrange for a time to get with them, and hope that they're going to be able to wait, until you can get back. But I honestly think in the market that you're in, you're handicapping yourself. You might be better off making a deal with the person that you mentioned that could drop the brochure off for you to make those listing appointments for you and do some split fees until you're able to get that done.
Okay.
And Tim, I was just going to add, I'm in Broward County. When I had this idea 6 years ago, I tried working it myself down here in Broward, and I think in 4 months I did 16 deals. There was only one person that was local. If you're in any part of Florida, a significant number of these heirs are not going to be local. So if you've got your computer with you and you can run, the CMAs and the market analysis, there's going to be a lot of these deals that aren't going to require you to be here because the heirs aren't here either. And maybe you might have somebody like Tim said to run by the house, take a look at it if need be. But you could probably list a significant portion of them remotely. So, something else, and have that backup person for the people that do need a visit that are here.
So pretty much when I get my first set of leads then from you guys here, that I guess end of this week, beginning of next, I should kind of scrub and look and see if they are remote, the representatives, before I have y'all send the letter then, to kind of give me an idea of which way to go then, right?
Not really. I'd recommend contact them all, but I'm just saying that, have a contingency for the ones that aren't remote, and you're in good shape for the ones that are. I interrupted you, Tim. Were you going to add to that?
I was going to say the same thing. We really don't encourage you to scrub, and it's not because we want to make sure you do waste money on mailings, but you never know what's there until you have the opportunity to do it, and all of these are probates, and you just need to let the numbers work for themselves. That's why you're investing in the process. Let the process spit out the ones that are low-hanging fruit for the ones to talk to. It's a numbers game.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. In worst case, our ISAs will set in a phone appointment for you to call back, and even if they are local, and schedule a future appointment for you or your assistant who's here. So, all right, good way to end the call. Thank you, guys. Incredibly good participation today, guys. Thank you. And we didn't go too only a few minutes over. I want to end this call like I always do. I want to thank well over 100 of you that took the time to be here. I want to thank those that actively participated and shared their ideas and stories with us. And I want to challenge each of you, take one idea, one thing, one story you heard on today's call that inspired you, go out and put it into practice and come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you same time next Thursday.